read this comment from Goose Gray from my YouTube channel. Demand still hasn't stopped decreasing for the past 5 years. Once demand finally bottoms out and stays there for years, I think we'll finally see some price movement. I'll keep enjoying the cheap rent here in Nashville. You can get some ridiculous deals renting, even for single family. I think there's nothing wrong with renting. Here is demand for the first 7 months of the year, every year going back to 2018. And what we see here is that we're at 19,266 transactions from January 1st to July 31st. This is all condos, single families, everything. 19,266 transactions this year. Last year was 19,130. It's 26% down from 2021, but I would say that demand has basically stopped falling. Now, we're going to get to what the next few months looks like in just a minute. The other thing that's interesting about this, look at price. It is astonishing how flat the market is when you look at it in aggregate, not in 1 month chunks, but when you look at the first completed 7 months of the year. If we were to model what I am seeing, so I'm seeing this massive drop in demand, by the way, down 9.1%. If you look at this is just single families, so this is going to be a little bit different. But if we modeled what a 5% drop would look like for the rest of the year, what we'll get, something that looks like this, okay? We'll be down and it will be a new low in close volume or demand. So Goose Gray isn't necessarily wrong, but when you put it in perspective, in my opinion, this is still flat. We've been flat in transaction volume in buyer pool for the past 4 years. The median price has been basically flat. My question is, was there something structurally changed? Did migration slow down or reverse? That's a question. Did something economically happen? We saw a negative payroll. Did something change in the middle of July on the labor front that economically might be structurally changing the demand pool? If you have an opinion on any of these, I would love to hear them. What we know is that mortgage rates are now year over year higher. Now, I talked about how this would be a headwind, and really that's a headwind for new buyers coming into the buyer pool, which means it's really going to start hitting us in about a month. By the time we get to September, this is going to be a major headwind, 50 to 75 basis points higher than we were last year. The buyer pool will definitely be lower going into the fall, which is why I think it's reasonable to expect a 5% drop for the rest of the year in demand. It's 9.1% now. I would say it's maybe going to moderate, but if it stays 9.1%, if it drops 10%, I mean, if it goes double digits drop in demand after being we're now almost a full month of negative demand. You know, part of this is sellers holding onto their price, but part of it's like, what happened to the buyer pool? Did something structurally change? I would love to hear from you all. You all tell me. I feel like this is not so. I can provide leading indicators, which we're going to look at contract price here in just a second. But what I can't do is tell you why demand just all of a sudden dropped 9%, which, by the way, I got a ton of you. Thank you all so much for reaching out. Lots of agents texted me telling me that they were experiencing what I had posted on here. And so thank you for that. And thanks for giving me feedback. For Goose Gray to say demand hasn't stopped decreasing, he was wrong about this up until July 15th. And now I'm like, well, he kind of does have a point. It looks like it may be dropping again. If this is a structural change, we could see even lower demand next year. I mean, that's what happened in 22 is we saw the back half of the year just tank, and then it normalized, annualized at a new structurally low level. Could we be seeing that again? I'm going to let you guys decide, and you tell me in the comments. I'm not going to provide perspective on that because I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Let's look at some leading indicators. First, I want to go to active listings. Active listings peaked at 10,000, but we haven't gotten back up to 10,000. Are we going to get to 10,000 next week again? Are we going to have a new high? Seems like if demand is down 10%, 9.1% at this point, active listings would go back above 10,000. Price cuts. Price cuts are by the way, look at price. Flat, flat, flat. It's just so flat. It's amazing how flat it is. Median price per foot, flat, less than 1%. It's amazing how flat price is this year. Even in the seasonal arc of prices, it just continues to be flat. It's amazing. Price cuts is a percentage of active listings. For the first time in months, it's year over year higher. But It's still lower than it was just a couple weeks ago. There are some price bands that are interesting though. The $2 million price band, price cuts, it's the highest it's been, at least since I've been recording this data. It's the highest it's been, and this is driven by Williamson County, believe it or not. Oh, there it is, Williamson. I'd gone all over. Look at that. In Davidson, it's much more stable. The 1 to 2 million mark is very stable in both of these too. Davidson, 1 to 2 million, so much stronger than last year. This is a good indicator of where prices will drop. Price cuts as a percentage of active listings. If you think about it, 41% of listings dropping their price means the market has shifted, traditionally speaking. Now let's take a look at contracts. If we take contracts and we push them out 30 days, what we see is that it coordinates directly with median price. So contracts are actually going to be a great guide on where price is headed next. As you can see, we are headed down. We're headed down. The median contract price now is $515. So by the early September, we should be at or below $515 in the median price. Now, the real question here is, will the median contract price drop below $500, and will it be significant? Now, if it drops significantly below $500, that would be something to watch, as it's really kind of held for years. That's something to watch. I think that there's actually a big question on whether or not demand just structurally changed again since 2022. This would be the first time since 2022 that demand might have structurally changed in Nashville. Is this a national thing? Is it a Nashville thing? I don't know. Immigration, economic. These are things that I'm going to be watching for over the next several months. Will we get more price relief going into the fall? I personally hope so. And I will tell you, there has been a tone change among agents that I've been negotiating with in August versus July. And we're being aggressive. I'm trying very hard to be aggressive for my buyers because I see the data. There's a lot more receptivity on this side of August than there was a month ago. So if you are planning to buy or sell, I strongly encourage you to search for a data-driven realtor. If you use ChatGPT, I believe it or not, I come up. I think that's kind of cool. So maybe that's a plug for me. If you're worried about price, there's nothing wrong with renting. Goose, great. I'm so glad you're renting. Keep renting. Can't tell you what's going to happen to price, but no hate for renting. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a great rest of the day. I look forward to seeing you next Saturday. Thanks a lot.